An animated show like The Simpsons goes through script writing, voice acting, storyboarding, basic animatics, coloring, and a whole lot of final editing before it's ready to air on TV. During this time, there are bound to be multiple errors which make it to TV, and we've captured a collection of the biggest mistakes here. These Simpsons errors include duplicated characters, complete outfit changes, and some crazy inconsistencies you wouldn't believe you missed the first time around. The premiere of The Simpsons was the classic holiday special Simpsons Roasting on an Open Fire, and you'd think the showrunners would have perfected everything before debuting the show. Well, this was not the case. The animation itself was a lot more crude than newer seasons, but there's one mistake that once you notice, you'll never miss again. At the end of the episode, Marge embraces Homer and the two celebrate Christmas along with the new family pet, Santa's Little Helper. During the close-up shot, if you look closely at the background, you'll notice it is completely upside down. Not only is Bart's picture flipped, but the lamp appears on the ceiling. The next time the close-up is shown, the background is flipped right side up with all the elements properly set in place. Thankfully, the error wasn't big enough to turn fans away as The Simpsons launched to massive success and became the cultural icon we know and love today. Over the years, Marge has tried her hand at a plethora of jobs. She's been a police officer, a baker, a saleswoman, and even got a gig at the Springfield nuclear power plant. One of her more memorable jobs came in Season 9 for the episode Reality Bites. Marge ventures into the world of real estate, but due to her honesty, she has a little trouble selling houses. As part of the gig, Marge gets to wear a flashy red jacket, a big outfit change from her typical wardrobe. She finally manages to sell a house to the Flanderses of all people, and the whole real estate office celebrates her first big sale. As Marge stands there and gets congratulated, watch closely at the bright red jacket. For the back shot, the jacket disappears, showing Marge in her typical dress and pearls. Once we return to the front shot, Marge has the jacket back on again. Either she needed to cool off a bit, or it was a glaring mistake from the animators. The long rivalry between Bart Simpson and Sideshow Bob began all the way back in Season 1 during the episode Krusty Gets Busted. Bart revels in busting Sideshow Bob after he framed Krusty for an armed robbery. During the big arrest scene, the two characters confront each other, but there may be something else a little fishy going on. Watch as Bart stares Bob down during the wide shot. A few moments later, Bart gets to tell Bob off. But did you notice the error? Originally standing to Lisa's left, Bart has now swapped positions, standing between both of his sisters. While the scenes take place right after one another, they were clearly animated by two different groups as the continuity was way off, even if the quick mistake was a little hard to notice the first time around. In Season 13's Homer the Moe, the beloved Moe's Tavern goes through some major changes when Moe decides to reinvent himself and connect with the college crowd. When Homer and his pals try out the new place, Homer is shocked to learn that all of the Duff beer has been replaced with Malaysian beer. The bottle Moe shows Homer has a yin-yang symbol on it instead of the typical Duff symbol, and Moe proclaims the beer is mostly made of soy sauce. Too bad Moe is clearly a liar, or the animators have placeholders when the details are not properly placed. When Moe sets the beer down, we apparently get to see some new type of magic trick because the next time we see the bottle, the whole yin-yang label is gone and an actual Duff beer is in its place. Quick, Homer, grab the last Duff in the bar! The Simpsons household has been the host of many crazy guests over the years, including the Season 9 episode Bart Carney, where Homer convinces Marge to let father and son carnival workers move into the home. The duo is full of tricks, especially at the dinner table when Cooter begins showing off tricks with a cigarette. While the smoke animation is impressive, the rest of the episode includes some glaring errors. Mainly, it includes the dinner Marge has served. In one moment, the family sits with giant plates of dinner. After a quick cutaway to Lisa, Bart, and Maggie, the meals are completely gone and Cooter is still in the middle of showing us his tricks, so there definitely wasn't a time jump there. Cooter even puts his cigarette out on an empty plate, not questioning once where his delicious meal went off to. Unless Santa's Little Helper is getting sneaky with stealing food, the animators tried to save time by removing it altogether. In crazy episodes like the Treehouse of Horror, the animators can get away with a little bit more, and blame it on the supernatural elements of a story. While this may work a majority of the time, the Treehouse of Horror 5 special had a glaring error even novice Simpsons fans would notice. In the short Time and Punishment, Homer tries to repair his toaster and inadvertently turns it into a time machine. Once in the future, the house gets carried away on this huge truck, but look at the house. Something feel off? Well, the garage is on the complete opposite side. The Simpsons house is iconic, and it's clearly supposed to be flipped the other way. And for those trying to say that it's supposed to be that way due to a change in the timeline, well, another shot moments later corrects the action and puts the garage right where it belongs. Bart has done some pretty cruel things in his day, but one of the actions he may have felt the worst about was leading Miss Krabappel on after discovering one of her personal ads while serving a detention. Going by the name Woodrow, Bart sent Miss Krabappel a lot of different love letters, and she sent back a little more than just some writing. In one of the first letters, we see a seductive Polaroid Miss Krabappel sent to Bart with her eyes half open and body lounging on a bed. Later on, Bart pulls out the picture again, but it's completely different. The scene takes place minutes after each other, so in the days before DVR and digital viewing, the error may have been hard to pick up on and compare. Let's play Spot the Differences. Eyes closed, pillow on the bed, frame on the wall, slight smile on face. Did we miss any? So do you think this is a true error, or does Bart actually have a whole collection of Polaroids from his elementary school teacher? Homer is constantly getting distracted from doing important things, whether it's getting tasks done at work, keeping an eye on Maggie, or filing taxes like seen in the episode The Trouble with Trillions. With literally only seconds left before the post office closes and Homer is late filing his taxes, he decides to stop off and purchase a hot dog from a street vendor. At first glance, the food stand looks nice and clean. The hot dog chef even wears an apron while serving Homer his delicious hot dog. But when the wide shot moves to the close-up, we may have a health issue on our hands. For some reason, the apron completely disappears, showing the guy in just a regular shirt instead. Considering the shots were back-to-back, this glaring error was pretty easy to spot, especially because the apron was bright red. One of the less traditional Simpsons Christmas episodes is Dude, Where's My Ranch? After Homer wrote a successful song about hating Ned Flanders, the family takes a vacation on a ranch. While there, Lisa rides a horse on a trail and discovers another girl around her age named Clara. So how exactly does Lisa know her name is Clara? Well, it's printed everywhere. Clara's name is printed on the horse saddle, on a ring, and on a necklace. Now, animated shows are notorious for showing close-ups with details and removing those details when we go wide again. This is another case of that. The close-up of the Clara necklace shows a pretty large design, but we never see the necklace again. The ring makes sense because it's a small hand detail, but the necklace should have been clearly visible. The Clara text does remain on the saddle though, so we have to wonder if it's an error or something intentional on the part of the animators. Some of the more detailed scenes on The Simpsons involves bars and taverns. There are multiple people in the background, details like dartboards, and all types of drinks laying around. Naturally, some of these details will get muddled in the mix, especially when the show ventures to a new location. In the episode Colonel Homer, a fight with Marge leads Homer off to Beer and Brawl. There, Homer listens to Lurleen sing a song and connects with it. While it was easy to get distracted with the singing, there was a quick error we all missed. After getting off stage, Lurleen grabs a whole tray of beers. When Homer runs up to her a moment later, almost all of the bottles are gone and replaced with a small plastic cup. The bar was pretty busy, but not busy enough to clear her tray of bottles in a matter of seconds. Sibling rivalry is kicked up a notch in the Season 6 episode Lisa on Ice. When Bart and Lisa take separate sides on the ice hockey rink, the crowd does as well, with one half cheering for Bart and the other cheering for Lisa. Clearly, crowd shots won't feature the most detail when it comes to television animation, but it seems like the show didn't even try this time. Not only do the Lisa and Bart sides feature identical characters just wearing different colored clothes, but there is some extremely choppy animation and a huge mistake. After Bart and Lisa let the hockey game go to a tie and embrace in a hug, look for the screaming lady on Bart's side. As she leans forward, her nose just straight out disappears. It's like a reverse Pinocchio effect as her face goes completely flat. Of course, if she had a nose, it probably would have been broken once the riots started in the stadium. Homer tries his hand at becoming a big rock star, but not by singing. Instead, he becomes a sideshow act in the episode Homer Palooza, where he insists on having items from a cannon launched at his shirtless body. As Homer tours the United States with bands like the Smashing Pumpkins, his stunts only become more intense before the grand finale where he plans to have an actual cannon blown at his body. In the scene, Homer stands on his platform wearing only a pair of blue shorts and a helmet. After he dodges the cannon and skips the stunt, Homer jumps off the stage to embrace his family. All of a sudden, his blue shorts are replaced with a pair of jeans. The rest of the shots don't cut back down to Homer's lower half, but there was a clear error in the transition here. Or maybe Homer's stage act wasn't a stuntman at all and rather a rock star magician. You don't see snow very often on The Simpsons, but when you do, you know the episode will be special. Case in point, the classic Season 4 episode of The Simpsons, Mr. Plow. In the episode, Homer runs a successful plow business with a catchy theme song and everything. Much to Bart's chagrin, he manages to clear the snow out of the way so Springfield Elementary School can keep its doors open for students. In the scene, we see Mr. Plow successfully clearing the path for the bus, but the sidewalk to the school is still completely covered. One quick jump cut later, and Bart steps off the school bus to a complete completely shoveled sidewalk. We literally just saw Martin using snowshoes to get over the giant mounds and reach the front door. Also, groundskeeper Willie was in the school with Principal Skinner, proving even further that he wasn't out there clearing any of the snow away. Normally, Lisa Simpson wouldn't be one to enter beauty pageants, but things are completely different when the Little Miss Springfield contest rolls around. Not only does Lisa enter, but she has hopes and aspirations of winning after only entering at first to please Homer for paying the hefty $250 entry fee. Unfortunately for Lisa, she falls just short of winning, being declared the runner-up to the winner, Amber. For multiple shots, we only see Lisa and Amber on stage with empty risers to the side. Watch closely when we get a close-up view of Lisa and her disappointment in losing. In the background, all the other contestants suddenly appear on the risers, standing there still like robots. The scene ends here, so we don't get a wide shot again, but there was clearly an error made when planning out the wide shots and close-ups. Early on in the series, we get to see how devious Mr. Burns can be in the Season 2 episode Bart Gets Hit by a Car. After Bart gets hit by Mr. Burns, a huge legal battle begins. But Marge's moral compass prevents the Simpsons family from getting a settlement and makes her the perfect pawn for the defense to use on the stand. While Marge talks on the stand, she is clearly under a lot of pressure, but she may also be a little confused. Multiple clips feature Mr. Burns' blue-haired lawyer asking Marge questions while an empty chair sits next to Mr. Burns. Then, after pandering to the jury, the lawyer comes back to Marge's stand, and it looks like he cloned himself. The lawyer not only questions Marge, but sits in the background next to Mr. Burns as well. There's jury tampering, and then there's this kind of crazy courtroom trick. After 30 seasons, there are only so many backstories that can focus directly on the Simpsons family. Thankfully, the show has taken its time over the years to focus on some of the supporting cast, including none other than Krusty the Clown. In the episode Like Father Like Clown, Krusty has dinner with the Simpsons family to help repay Bart for saving him from Sideshow Bob's framing and Krusty gets busted. The dinner is completely formal, with Marge and Lisa staying in their typical dresses while Bart, Milhouse, and Homer all dress up in formal wear. The episode flashes back between Krusty's childhood and dinner scenes, but one of these scenes stands out a lot more than the others because of the major error. While we're supposed to be focusing on Krusty's hard childhood, we cannot take our eyes off Homer, who has suddenly changed out of his formal wear and is back in his signature white polo. Guess Krusty's story was so boring, Homer felt the need to go change. When you've watched the same Simpsons episodes dozens and dozens of times, you start paying attention to the small details. Case in point, the Season 11 premiere, Blunderdome. While many of us were listening and watching to special guest voice Mel Gibson, there was a small and eerie detail most of us couldn't ignore. During a scene where Homer and his family talk to Mel, Homer puts a reassuring hand on Bart. How reassuring is the hand? Well, just keep your eyes focused on it to get a good idea. While Homer moves away, the hand does not, seemingly stuck to Bart's shoulder. The hand is pretty much in the forefront of the shot, leaving us to wonder if even the animators were distracted by the cartoon presence of an A-list star like Mel Gibson as well. Either way, the moment definitely felt like something that would have fit in perfectly with a Treehouse of Horror instead. The Simpsons definitely has its dark humor and moody moments, but there's one thing you can never take away from the show. Its bright and vibrant color patterns. From the yellow skin to Marge's blue hair, the show is bright and refreshing, and even better when you watch in HD. Every character seems to have their signature colors, including Nelson, the town bully. In the Season 3 episode The Auto Show, we see Nelson approach Bart and Lisa at the school bus stop wearing his signature blue vest with a light orange shirt underneath. Well, obviously the coloring crew got some of their numbers mixed up because in a quick shot, Nelson appears with an orange vest and a blue shirt. The error goes by quick, but is well worth the Simpsons toy line producing a variant figure for him. In the early 1990s, there were two things that really set parents off: Mad Magazine and Bart Simpson. Mix the two together and you have the ultimate case for some preteen rebellion. This exact mixture happened in the Season 7 episode Team Homer. While Homer and his bowling team, the Pin Pals, took the lead in the episode, Bart was causing some anarchy of his own. In the middle of class one day, Bart tosses off his sweater to reveal a Mad Magazine Down with Homer t-shirt. The goofy stunt resulted in some major changes for the school, but did you catch the animation mistake? When Bart takes off his sweater, he places it on top of his desk. Then it disappears and never returns. Maybe the animators assumed we're so used to seeing Bart in a t-shirt that we wouldn't miss seeing the random sweater in the scene. Marge has done a ton for Homer over the years, but one of her more courageous efforts was attending a candy convention with him in a trench coat. Marge used that trench coat to stuff all kinds of free candy samples on the inside. Obviously, the candy snatching duo got a little too happy with all the candy snatching because Marge's trench coat literally blew up in the middle of the convention. A giant pile of candy spilled out onto the floor, but maybe it was smaller than we first realized. Despite a huge pile of candy, 1 second later, the amount of candy was extremely minimized and a majority of them disappeared. The overdramatic nature may have been too much, but then again, this is a cartoon and things have always been known to get a little over the top. Wow, who knew animation could be so hard? Well, I think we all did, so we can give the show a little bit of a break. Anyway, what mistake do you think was the worst? Anything we missed? Has the show's animation quality improved over the years? Let us know in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe to ScreenRant for more great content.